Hello, everybody. It is great to be here today. My name is Gary Fowler, and this is another edition of GSD Presents Silicon Valley AI and Tech. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I've done 17 startups. I've been involved in two unicorns. I was on the original management team of Click Software, which was sold to Salesforce for 1.35 billion, and also Eva.ai, an AI HR tech company. And as you probably know, I love artificial intelligence and quantum computing. I am the CEO, president, and co-founder of GSD Get Shit Done Venture Studios, a premier AI and quantum venture studio located in Silicon Valley with connections and companies in 38 countries around the world. We believe that intellectual capacity is evenly spread around the world, but the opportunities aren't. We want to make it different. And with that, I have my incredible friend, Dr. Maren Schweizer, who is what a wide background. Not only does she have a doctorate, but she's a pilot, a jet pilot in Dassaults. She comes from the Schweitzer family. They started in 1849 in electronics, one of the top Atlantic electronics manufacturers in Germany. So she's currently located in Singapore, loves technology, loves AI. And with that, I'd like to bring Dr. Schweitzer, my friend Maren, on. Hi, Maren.
Hello, Gary. Hello to everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are. Good to
It's
be
great.
here.
What time is it in Germany right now?
Oh, it's 4 o'clock in the morning.
Ay, yeah, 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 yeah. I'm so sorry. I didn't know you were going to be there. I thought you were going to be in Singapore. So apologize for that.
No
So
worries.
tell
I'm
me,
happy to be on the show. Normally I'm in Singapore, as you said. Currently, it's my first trip outside Singapore since the pandemic kicked in. So I'm really enjoying seeing friends, seeing business partners, and catching up in person.
how does it feel to be back in Germany? How does it feel now since you've been away so long?
Oh, the first travel actually felt a little bit strange. I felt like a toddler or even a little child being excited on the airplane and coming back to Europe. It feels good. Feels good.
Oh, that's great. So I have a question for you. So you went to the Karlsruhe Institute of Technology, then you went to aviation. I mean, what did you like wake up one day and say, "Oh, I want to be a pilot," but not only a pilot, I want to be a jet pilot. How did that like what was that progression like? Did you like flying always, or how did that come about?
Yeah, it's been not an overnight kind of life decision. I've always been into aviation since I can remember. My father has been a private pilot, and he took me into the airplane when I was around 1 years old. A little airfield in the middle of the Black Forest, in the middle of the nowhere. So I always had petrol and kerosene in my nose, and started flying myself at the age of 14. You can fly gliders in Germany before you're allowed to drink a beer. So that's how everything started. And uh, and then when I moved to Karlsruhe, difficult to pronounce, you did it very well, Karlsruhe Institute of Technology. I got in touch with a little aviation company, and then everything ignited. First, I've been washing the airplanes for that owner of that little taxi company, and then one thing chipped into the other thing. Then I upgraded my licenses up to jet pilot, and then when I moved to Paris and worked for Dassault Falcon Group, I've also been flying jets from Paris to New York, from Paris to Tokyo, and so forth. Very exciting, but I have to admit, the long range flights are a little boring.
Now, how was it though flying? Was it interesting? Do you still fly? Do you still fly jets, or to keep your rating up, or not?
No, I don't. When I joined Schweizer Group, Schweizer Electronic in 2005, I had to decide left or right. You cannot do both. Before I've been in the aviation industry for many years, and there you can nicely combine flight. It's not a hobby. You need to do it 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, like the airline pilots a week. So I'm not flying anymore, but I miss it actually. It's been a good time. It's been a great time.
How was it though? How far did you go up, Maren? Did you go up 20,000 feet? How far could you go up? What's the ceiling in terms of those types of jets? I don't know what the Dassault Falcon's capable of.
Yeah, the Falcon 2000 and 900, which been the aircraft models I've been flying, they go up into the 40,000 feet
Wow.
and above. It's a two-engine and a three-engine model. They can go long range from Paris to New York. Today's models even go further. It's been really great. And if I think about that time in flying, that gave me the opportunity to discover Europe first. Because during my studies, I've been working 2 days a week for a little taxi aircraft company in Karlsruhe, and that took me to Prague in the Czech Republic. That took me to Brünn. That took me then later to Moscow, to all the Eastern countries. For me, it was a discovery journey, opening the horizon, seeing a lot of stuff, and it's been pretty cool. But I relied on my good friends actually, who helped me through my studies, because that time, not so digital, nothing on the internet. So you had to have good buddies who hand over you a photocopy of the lecture.
Really? Wow, that's amazing. And so you were, I read here too, I went down through, by the way, you have 7 pages on your LinkedIn profile. You got a rather robust LinkedIn, but so you went over to Russia, and how was that? When did you go over to Russia the first time?
That's been around 2002, when I was in charge of sales for Dassault Falcon service in Paris. We reconfigured our setup at that time and strategized, and then focused on aircraft management. And the Russian market has been a very high potential market. So we opened up that market to 2002, 3, 4, and 5. Took me to Moscow mainly.
And were you flying people around privately, or were you working in sales, like trying to sell the planes, or what were you doing?
No, I was selling actually the aircraft management services, all what you need to have a hassle-free ownership of a jet. That's what I was doing, and apparently I was flying. I was flying these jets for the clients, may it be VIPs, may it be business women and businessmen, may it be families. We took many families actually from Paris to Long Island, to the Hamptons in summer. That's been
Seriously?
typically.
Wow, that's amazing. And so did you get to meet a lot of celebrities, Maren?
Oh, there have been really interesting people on board, I can tell.
Yeah. Wow, that's
Mhm.
great. Yeah, yeah. And so were they nice? Was it in general, were people nice once they get on the aircraft? Or, well, I'm sure because you're the pilot, they're not going to say anything bad, but how do they act on the plane?
On the private jet, it's a very family style environment. So the passengers, they interact with the cabin crew. They interact also with the flight crew. You walk around on the long range flights. You have an opportunity to get to know each other, to talk
Wait, you can walk
personally.
around
Absolutely great.
you walk around on the plane? You're piloting, right? Or was there more than one pilot on the Dassault?
Yeah, it's a two pilot crew. It's pretty much like airlines, you know.
Oh, I see.
The only difference is that the plane is a little smaller. Sure, you're allowed to walk around, visit the washroom and say hello, or after the landing you interact with your clients. That's the
That must have
interesting
been
part of
interesting.
private jets.
I bet you've seen a lot of interesting things when you were flying. It must be
Oh yes,
interesting
I did.
flying across the ocean. Did you ever see anything strange, Maren, when you're going across? I always wondered if you're up front, is there's like, whoa, that's kind of interesting. I wonder what that was.
Yeah, all the lights over the North Atlantic has been fantastic. If you go very, very, very high with the Falcons, you gradually start to see a little bit the shape of our Earth, a little
Wow.
bit already, a little bit, gradually. And then you look down, and then you see the ships. Those uh, sailboats, the smaller ones who cross the North Atlantic. I sometimes had to pity them in stormy weather. You are
Yeah.
just above everything, and you look down and see, oh, that's not comfortable down there, maybe.
Yeah, and here you are flying in a beautiful jet across, right, in the lap of luxury. Okay, so you do that. What was the day that you made a decision that you're going to go into family business? Did it just happen one day, or was it over time that you made a decision? How did that come about?
That's been a long journey. Actually, my father has been talking to me and first convinced me to go for engineering studies, what I did at the same university as he did. So he was very successful on that path. Then, from his point of view, I think I got a little bit lost in aviation, which was a great time. As he enjoyed aviation, he liked it. What I was doing, and then I moved to Paris, worked for Dassault, and at that time, it looked like that I'm just going to follow my career path somewhere else. I didn't want to join the family business immediately after my studies, neither. That felt too easy, and at that time, my heart was not really beating for the family business. Sure, I liked it. Sure, we've been talking about family business every lunch at home. It's been always business talk, business talk. Actually, I think I did a couple of MBAs during my teenage ages with my parents. Uh, my parents took me to Singapore regularly, once or twice a year. As in the 1980s, my father opened the first Asian business at that time. So I had a lot of exposure to our family business, which is now sixth gen. As you mentioned, all started long time ago in 1849 in the Black Forest with cuckoo clock trading. You know,
That's
we all know
amazing.
the cuckoo
Yeah,
clocks, right?
we my mother had one of those Black Forest cuckoo clocks, and I remember I used to shut it off because it would wake me up. And
It can be a little bit annoying, uh,
it's like I
but
was like I wanted to strangle the cuckoo. I gotta tell you, you know.
we are not doing cuckoo clocks anymore. The family core business is electronics, as you mentioned during the intro, and actually I've set up and I'm running the family office, venture capital and venture engine arm in Singapore since 2017. Before I've been running the show of Schweizer Electronics for 10 years in Germany, in Singapore, in Japan, China, and Vietnam. So I've been around a little bit and I enjoyed it, exploring the world, getting to know people, getting inspired. So as I do when we first met in a show some months ago.
Yeah, absolutely. So, but you were the CEO, right? You were the CEO of the group, correct?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, what made you decide? You're the CEO of the group. What made you decide? Like one day, you say, "I'm going to Singapore," because when my dad took me there when I was a kid, I really liked it. Was it that, or what? Did you just say I wanted a gateway to Asia? How did that happen?
No, not at all. First, I haven't been the CEO when I joined Schweizer. I've been one of the board members
Mm-hmm.
when I joined Schweizer Electronic. That's how the electronic business is called. It's a Lisco in Frankfurt, by the way. And we then had some difficult times, had to restructure, reconfigure our company. I've been appointed CEO then in 2007, and at that time we set up partnerships with a Japanese company first, then with a Chinese company. So the logic step was for me actually to stop remote controlling the Asian business and move closer to where the business is, the growth potential is. So I moved to Singapore in 2013 for Schweizer Electronic, but I've never been actually in Singapore, if I want to be honest. I just had my place there, my kids there, a lot of friends there, great people, but I've been traveling on the airplane every time. Every time. Sounds crazy these days, I have to admit. Monday, somewhere. Once in a month in Japan, then Vietnam, then China, then back to Europe once or twice. So um, I'm not very proud of my CO2 admission that days. And we've all learned that this is not the way to do it. We can do it differently. I enjoy hybrid environments. That's what we do in our company now. Everything is hybrid work from anywhere. Um, and that's where actually digital and technology comes in, not only AI, a lot of other topics.
No, I
So,
agree. But you were the CEO for 10 years. I mean, right? And then
uh,
you made that move. You were CEO from 2007 to 2017. if I remember from your profile. But that's amazing. So now tell us a little bit about Singapore. And so, what do you like about Singapore? Is it a place you're going to stay forever? Is that your home now, or what's? How did is it because it's a gateway to China, or is it or the gateway to Asia? Why is it important to you? What do you like about it? How is it?
Yeah, well, it's a nice combination of pros, business-wise, family and private, from a private perspective. Singapore is a great place to live. So let me start with private first. It's fantastic. It's vibrant. It's a city. It's hot. I like it warm. Um, Actually, I'm living at the seaside. That's a great opportunity in Singapore to be at the beach. Um, but I know, I think you also like seaside locations, Gary, don't you?
Oh
So
yeah, yeah, yeah. I just love warm weather. Although I got to tell you, man, I lived in Russia almost 10 years in Moscow, and I would go, to Vladivostok and up north, and it was real cold. It was like 30 plus, minus 30 plus C, and it was real cold. But you kind of get used to it. But I'm Greek, so on half of me's Greek American, and I don't know. I like warm weather. It's just you get used to it, and it's fun to be able to ride bikes and enjoy the sea. So I'm the same as you.
yeah, only I know Novosibirsk a lot because that's been actually the stop we had to make with the Falcon if we flew to Tokyo with the smaller models. So, Novosibirsk can be very, very
Very
cold.
cold.
Can be really very, very cold, and you spend a lot of time on de-icing your aircraft after the refueling. So back to Singapore. Business-wise, it's the right place to be. It's the gateway to Southeast Asia. It's where a lot of platforms and ecosystems. So that's our focus, where we have our investment portfolio set up. It's all in Southeast Asia. Um, Singapore is the right place to be. You have the good talents, you have the governance, you have the compliance, you have your IP nicely at home in Singapore. And that's why the family office and our venture capital arm is in Singapore.
And what kind of companies? So your family office. What kind of companies are you interested in? Are they complementary to the family business? Are you looking for other types of investments? AI. I mean, what's if you could say like the top three? What's interesting for you?
That's a very good question. You know, uh, it's a little bit the way how you want to do it. So we are not a CVC, a corporate venture capital fund by definition. So we do have our financial KPIs, pretty much like any VC. Uh, if you look at investment targets, for sure we have a little bit that strategic play in our mind, but it's not a KPI. So we've been looking into the Southeast Asian landscape purely from a perspective of what is digital, what is platform, what is ecosystem, what is scalable. In
Mm-hmm.
our mind, always with the perspective, how do we manage to learn how digital really works?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have a real good insight on digital ecosystems 4 or 5 years ago when I was the hardware person and now turned software person. So from hard to soft. Um, so that's what we are doing. We are into telemedicine. We are into marketplaces. We are into last mile delivery. It has to be a platform. It has to be highly scalable, and most of our investments they're actually sitting in Indonesia and Vietnam.
Indonesia and Vietnam, interesting, because that's where we're finding for my accelerator. We're finding a lot of companies coming from Vietnam, actually, Indonesia, Australia, and Africa, by the way. So for some reason today, Ghana, Zambia, Nigeria, Kenya, we're seeing a lot of interesting AI companies coming out of there. And most people don't realize there's 1.3 billion people in Africa, and what a burgeoning, interesting opportunity. So as you're going down through it, so what is the criteria that you look? So you're looking for scalable companies. You're looking for companies from Southeast Asia. We do have quite a few startups from around the world that look at the show. if you were to say, how much revenue do they need to have? How do they, how do they fit into your profile? Do they need to be something that integrates with Schweitzer? What else would they need to have to be able to come to you? The software, right? Last mile delivery. Um,
Well, a very good question. Well, we are a family office and we are not a VC, so we don't have a very focused mandate to deliver to our LPs. So we take it from a more holistic approach. Back to your question, how do we evaluate the companies? So the early stage companies, for sure, they do need to show us monthly average users, need to have the underlying growth potential in the sector and in the region they are operating, because Southeast Asia is not Southeast Asia. Each country has its differences. Um, and then we are looking at how much can we de-risk with our own business acumen, expertise, and our talents, our investment. And we have a close look at the team, at the talents. Uh, how much actually are they involved in the business? How diverse is the management team? Can be young founders, can be middle-aged founders. What we find is that most of our startups we have invested into, the founders are in their 40s. They had some experience somewhere else in smaller companies, SMEs or MNCs, and then they decided to pursue their dream and become an entrepreneur uh, with a very structured while still entrepreneurial approach.
and what's the typical check size? I mean, what's the investment range that is interesting for you?
Well, it's in the range from 50,000 USD to 5 million.
Huh,
What we are
interesting.
doing.
Do they need to have revenue, Maren, or are you into those early stage companies that are promising? So 50,000 is probably an early stage pre-seed level company, right?
Yeah, the 50K, that's a pre-seed level. They don't need to have revenue. They don't even need to have a minimum viable product or have run a couple of POCs. If the idea is right and the solution to an identified problem feels right, then we are ready to chip in. Uh, there's no full-fledged due diligence for these investments. Uh, we are helping the startups in their design phase, basically, more like a venture builder and a venture engine uh, to help them to reach the stage where they can show a MVP, have done the first POC with a lead client, and then we
Mm-hmm.
decide to chip in more money to help them grow. That's
You're, so
basically
you're,
what we do.
you're you're operationally helping them, so you're actually taking some hands-on responsibility, guiding them, advising them. Is that how it works?
Yeah, that's how it works. Actually, I'm personally sitting on 10 advisory boards of 10 of our startups. We're having a portfolio of 34 currently. Uh, the collection from the last 4 years. Um, we try not to be on governance boards by definition. So we are
Mm-hmm.
not sitting on the board or requiring a board seat. We take it more from the think tank role, from the advisor role. And then we are setting a structured advisory board. We ask experts from the industry, from the region, or whatsoever to join on the advisory board and help our executives team to thrive and be successful.
No, that's fantastic. So you give them the freedom. And what's the goal with the companies? I mean, in terms of, are you looking? Do they need to have an exit, or what's the real goal? They get purchased by Schweitzer, or what's the end goal from your perspective?
Any option is open. If there's a strategic fit and it would help us to develop our core businesses, then we might want to acquire the company down the road. But we are
Mhm.
very patient. Family business, sixth gen, 172 years. We are pretty much the same age like Siemens and older than Bosch, so like the big names. We don't have the rush. We don't need to show that our fund is performing well during the tenor. So there's really no time pressure. We are in. If we like it, we join the following rounds. and certainly we are having different options. So we are looking at IPOs, we are looking at other exit scenarios. That's what actually happening a lot in Southeast Asia now, in the startup space.
No, it's
And
great.
then specs might be also an interesting topic for Southeast Asia. Not yet there, but Singapore is moving into that direction.
Interesting. I see it too. I've never seen as much activity in the startup environment as I see today. And it's interesting because the level of the companies that we see today are so much better than they were a year and a half ago. I think what happened with COVID is that people were sitting around and said, let's work on the startup. There's nothing else to do. And so they started to work on these incredible startups all over the world, and they're really starting to blossom right now and come out. They're really, especially on the things that we're interested in, AI, all kinds of different AI technologies, supply chain, manufacturing, robotics, et cetera. It's incredible. So we're coming up to the top of the hour, and closing thoughts, Maren, and where can people reach you?
You can reach me via LinkedIn on my profile. Please type Dr. Maren Schweizer, because there are many Maren Schweizers out in the market. Then you'll find me. You'll find me on our webpage, schweizer.world. Get in touch with me. We also do have a web form for all the startups to share their ideas and their pitch deck with us to get it into our deal pipeline. And if not, get in contact with Gary. He knows where he can find me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So nice to see you again. I really appreciate getting up at 4:00 in the morning. Sorry about that. So to my audience out there, I hope you enjoyed the show today. My name is Gary Fowler, and I am the host of GSD Presents Silicon Valley AI and Tech. And it was a great honor to have my friend Maren Schweizer on the show today. For all of you out there, we will be back again next Tuesday with another exciting edition. Stay tuned. Most importantly, stay healthy, stay happy, and stay safe. Tune in again, and I hope to see you soon. Thanks, Maren. I appreciate it today. Thank you. Take care of yourself. See you soon.
Thanks, Gary. Thanks, everybody out there. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.